Good morning.
Good morning, Father.
So we've got nearly 50 of our young people on retreat this weekend. Father Michael's with them as well, and they should be coming back this afternoon. For those of you that don't know, Father Michael recently took up golf. He came to play with me in a tournament before our priest convocation, and he thought he was just going to sit in the cart and smoke cigars and enjoy himself. But the person that was in the cart with him said, no, if you're here, you're gonna be contributing. It turns out Father Michael's kind of a jock, and he's like Happy Gilmore when he hits the ball. It goes like 500 yards. Anyway, so he said, I actually kind of like this. So he started playing. So on Tuesday, Father Jack was visiting. He's getting ready to get on an aircraft carrier out in the Pacific Ocean. So he wanted to come and visit before that happened. And I said, hey, let's go play golf on Tuesday, because the weather was so beautiful. And just after all that cold, so okay, great. Father Jack doesn't play. He's just gonna, ride along and be a cheerleader or whatever it was. So I said, okay, well, I'm not the most powerful golfer, so let's play the member tees, not necessarily the blues or the whites, but like the back and forth between blue and white. So we get up to the first tee box at Bentwater, and it says white tee for the member tees, and we get up there, and I make my mediocre first shot, and then Father Michael gets up, and Father Jack's trying to cheer him on, and he says, Father Michael, just knock the snot out of it. Got in his head a little bit, and so he wound up, and he just whacked this ball, and it went flying. It turned right, it hit a roof off the fairway. And he was like, oh no, I hit a roof. Is that sorry? Those people have insurance for that. That's just, they knew what they were getting buying a house on a fairway like that. I decided from then on out he needed to hit from the blue tees exclusively. And also because I'm sure he was doing something wrong with his hand, and that's what was causing the ball to stray off to the right. And I said, hey, look, I got a pointer for you. Your ball's going right. Just turn yourself like 30 degrees to the left, and that'll straighten it out. That's the best way to straighten out a swing, is what I've been told. At least it sometimes works for me. So he did that, and then he hit it straight, and it went in the woods. And anyway, we had a great time out there. But I was thinking of that when I was reading the gospel, and I'm sitting there giving him pointers on, how to. I have zero business giving anybody pointers on how to swing a golf club. I don't like it when people tell me how to swing a golf club. I know that I don't do it right. I know that I'm bad at it. Just leave me alone. And when I read this gospel where Jesus is telling Peter, he says, hey, go out into the deep water and drop the net over the side. And Peter's like, really? I've been at this all night. I've caught nothing. I've been a fisherman my entire life. My father was a fisherman. My father's father was a fisherman. His father's father was a fisherman. I don't need your help teaching me how to fish, Jesus, okay? If something's wrong with the boat, I'll bring it to you because you're a carpenter. But leave the fishing to me. But yet he trusts in him, right? Jesus says, put out into deep waters, right? Ducem altum. Go out into the unknown. Go out to that which might be a little scary. And he does it. And Jesus says, go ahead, lower your nets. And immediately he pulls in this massive catch of fish. And there's something that we see here, and that Jesus is showing him, even the thing that you know best, I know better. Even the thing that you think that you do best, I know better. And I can perfect it, and I can perfect you. If you let me into those areas of your life where you think that you've got it all together, then I can do so much good for you. Now, for all of us, we probably have that area of our life. It may not be fishing, it may not be golf, it may be something more interior, where we say, I've got this together, or I'm holding it together, or I've got, whatever kind of imperfection pieced together and glued and taped and band-aided, and it's good. Jesus, I do not need your help in this area of my life. Please leave me alone. Don't tell me what to do here. And we think to ourselves, I can handle it myself. When in reality, Jesus is saying, how's that going for you, though? If you just let me in there, I promise you're going to be so much more happy. If you just let me into that part of your life, you think that you're good at fishing now, I promise you're gonna catch so much more fish. And what is it that Peter says to him after this great catch? He says, Lord, depart from me, for I am a sinful man. The first reading from Isaiah, God is speaking to Isaiah, and he's asking him to go out to be his prophet, to be his voice in the world. And Isaiah thinks to himself, no, I'm too sinful. God says, okay, well, I can fix that. I'll send you an angel. We think of angels, right? We think of the little cute angel on top of the Christmas tree with the little wings and everything. But he sends a seraph. The seraph are like these scary-looking creatures. They're described as being covered in eyeballs all over their face. In fact, they have like 4 faces on each side of their head. They're covered with like 70 wings. They're on fire, right? You know, if a seraph appeared to you, you would be like, oh, cool, an angel. You'd be like, oh, no, what did I do? And so the seraph comes and he appears to Isaiah and he says, okay, I'll help you with your sinfulness. Let me take this coal from the altar and let me burn your tongue. Let me burn away the imperfections. Let me burn away the sinfulness. And through that, Isaiah is purified so that he can hear God's call to go out into the world and to proclaim his word. Now, that's what God does with us, right? He calls us, and we say, yeah, but I'm not perfect. I'm not the right one for the job. I don't think that I can do this. And he says, that's all right. I'll help you. I'll purify you. I'll give you the grace that you need. I'll strengthen you. But then you're called to go out into the world. You're called to be sent forth, right? Into the apostolate. That's what the apostles are, the ones who are sent forth. So God says, I will purify you. I will perfect you. But then once I've done that, I need you to go and do your work. And so back to the gospel, Simon Peter, after this astonishment, right, after having gone to the unknown, having done the thing that he thought he already knew how to do, after seeing this just great astonishment of the power of God, he leaves everything in his boat to follow after Christ. And Christ calls all of us to do that. He calls us to leave everything behind so that we can follow after him. Now, he doesn't call all of us to leave all of our material possessions behind and to go and to live in a monastery, or a cloistered convent, because if that were the case, then, nothing would get done. Some people are called to that, yes. But the vast majority of us are called to follow the Lord in this world. And so how do we do that? Well, what's holding us back? What do we have to let go of? What do we have to leave behind? We still need to leave the nets in our boat. We still need to leave something. We still need to let go of something. Perhaps it's a habit. Perhaps it's a relationship. Perhaps it's something like gossip, right? Think about gossip and how gossip is it's very toxic. It destroys communities and families, and it gets in there and it rots away relationships. Oh, but it's fun. I've got secret knowledge of somebody, right? Yeah, I've got power now. I can, I know something that you don't know. It's like when a news story breaks and I'm the first one to hear about it and I get to share it with my friends and I'm like, hey, even though you were going to hear about this 5 minutes later, I told you first. Special knowledge. One of the earliest heresies in the church was the Gnostic heresy. It comes from the Greek word for knowledge, where they thought they were special because they had this special knowledge and they wouldn't share it with anybody. When in reality, that knowledge is the good news of the gospel, the good news of salvation that we're called to share with everybody. So we should think, well, yeah, this is something so special that I can't contain it. I want to go out into the world and I want to proclaim it. I want everybody to know about it. I want everybody to share in this knowledge. And so we say, okay, well, what is it that's holding me back? Maybe it's gossip. Maybe it's, road rage. Maybe it's just whatever little thing that I think isn't really that big a deal. And we've tricked ourselves in our modern understanding. We think, well, yeah, there's big sin and there's little sin, and a little sin, it's okay. It's just a little white lie. Hear that all the time. Oh, well, I had to tell this little white lie. You had to tell a lie. Did somebody hold a gun to your head and say you have to tell this lie? Nobody has to tell a lie. A lot of times we tell these little lies in order to maybe save face, or sometimes we have pure motives and we say, well, I didn't want this person to be upset, or I didn't want to hurt this person if he or she knew the truth, so I had to tell this little lie. Still not justifiable. And people will say, well, my sins aren't as bad as other people's sins, so it's kind of like, it's okay, but they're still bad because they're sins. We think, it's not like I killed anybody, right? Yeah, but gossip is like kind of slowly by 1,000 blows chipping away at the integrity of somebody's character, right? Where we're assassinating their character. So yeah, okay, I haven't physically killed anybody, but I've assassinated people's character. Okay, well that's not good. That's very bad. I should seek to change that. I should look to God and I should say, hey, I'm imperfect. Please depart from me, God, because I'm sinful. I don't deserve to have you in my presence. I don't deserve your goodness. But he says, that's okay. I'll forgive you and I'll give you the strength that you need through the sacraments. You receive forgiveness in the sacrament of confession. You receive the grace through the sacrament of the Eucharist so that you can actually go out into the world. So this week I want us to, focus on a few things. One, what is it that we need to leave behind? What is it that we need to leave in the boat so that we can better follow Jesus? Two, where is it that he's calling us to go out to, or rather allow him into our life? That part of our life that we say, no, I've got it all together, I don't need your help. What is that area? And finally, third, what is it that I need to acknowledge is sinful in my life, that is really preventing me from going to the next step of holiness? If we can focus on those three things, and we can really actually try to ask the Lord to help us to make those changes in our lives so that we can follow him more closely, we could transform the world. And just as our Lord sent his apostles out into the world, so too he sends us into the world. Every Mass, go forth, the Mass is ended. Go out there into the world, go proclaim the good news, go proclaim the gospel. Make sure that others know how awesome God is, how good he is, and how much he desires to make us perfect as he is perfect.